Hey everybody, Michael here from Replica Airguns. Today we're going to take a look at the KJWorks KP-19, and this is a CO2 Blowback Airsoft pistol. And this is going to be the tabletop review, so there's not going to be any shooting in this video. I haven't shot it or tested it or even tried it out at this point. Now I have shot a bunch of other KJWorks products and they typically perform well when I do my field test shooting video, but we'll find that information out later when I get to the field test shooting video later. Now this product is in our Canada Replica Airgun store over at replicaairguns.ca. I'll put a link in the description for you to buy it. We do have other, obviously, airsoft products in our US store, just not KJWorks products so much. All right, let's get right into the specifications. The KJWorks KP-19 uses a 12-gram CO2 cartridge. There are gas magazines available, but this one comes with the 12-gram CO2 magazine, which will shoot a little bit hotter than green gas or propane. It shoots in semi-auto with full blowback operation. It does have a light and super short skeletonized adjustable single action only trigger, so it's competition adjustable. It also has a metal slide and frame. Only real plastic is going to be this piece that kind of goes around the trigger guard here and the actual grip here. So the grip, trigger well is plastic, but all in here is metal. This gun weighs in at 1.9 pounds or 850 grams. It is 10.6 inches in length, which is 270 millimeters. The barrel length is approximately 4.25 inches or 108 millimeters, and that's the inner barrel length. Now it does come with an extended barrel. I'm not exactly sure what the velocity is going to be with the short barrel. The higher velocity is probably going to be with the extended barrel. Sometimes that's how we get these guns in Canada, is we get them shipped with extended barrels that bring the velocity up and over 360 FPS. So I'm sure with the extended barrel, we'll get up to 360 or just over. Without the barrel installed, the extension, it'll probably shoot a little slower. When I do the testing, I'm more than likely just going to shoot it with the shorter, non-extended barrel, because that's probably the way most people are going to use this gun. Most people aren't going to want this big, long, thin barrel sticking out of their pistol, probably going to damage it at some point accidentally. Now it does have an under barrel rail for accessories, a Picatinny rail, so you could add a laser, a tack light for sure, maybe a foregrip, I don't know about that. You're also going to find an ambidextrous safety, and this compensator up front is removable. It's a CNC machined aluminum compensator, and the barrel, by the way, the outer barrel is CNC aluminum, so it matches the compensator. When I show you around the gun, I'll be able to show you the fiber optic sights on the front and on the rear, so that's kind of nice. It's easy to see whatever you're shooting at, all kinds of backgrounds. It does have adjustable hop-up, along with a flared magwell and a slightly extended magazine. It does come in a cardboard box with the manual, small bag of airsoft BBs, an Allen key, a barrel extension, and the adapter plate for a red dot. So quickly show you what comes in here. So you got the KP-19 manual. You got all the typical manual stuff, the do's and the don'ts. Little parts diagram here, so that's kind of nice. More do's and don'ts, and then you have some, basically some basic instructions here on how to, use the gun. Some more parts diagram with a list of the different parts. So you can go through that on your own once you get yours. Here's that adapter plate. So this is the rear adapter plate, comes with the screws and everything that you need. It'll just go on the back here. So the rear sight comes off. This just allows you to put some sort of a red dot on here, a small, slide-based red dot. You've got your barrel extension here, threads into the inner barrel. Okay, that just allows for this gun to shoot a little hotter. But, unless you're going to put a compensate on here, like an actual suppressor, mock suppressor, the compensator on here isn't long enough, obviously, to cover this. But a mock compensator could, mock suppressor could. So, that would probably be the only situation where I might put this in there, because you'll get higher velocities. You do get a little bag of airsoft BBs, and you do have the Allen keys for basically tightening the CO2, and I'm sure these little guys are for things like the compensator, other adjustable things, maybe one's here for adjusting the trigger. See, yeah, so one would be for adjusting the trigger sensitivity, I'm sure. Okay, so that's what it comes with. Now it is a 1911 design, so if you look at the way the trigger is, you've got these really short single action triggers. You look at it initially, it doesn't look like a 1911, but if you really take a good close look, it is very similar, just the angle of the pistol grip, the style. This would be a double stack pistol grip, obviously, but the beaver tail, the basically the thumb guard here, the grip guard. Some people call it a beaver tail. And then you've got, like again, 1911 controls with the safety being back here, the slide catch release here. Just the shape of the gun in general. It's just very tactical based with skeletonized, open ports here. Obviously the compensator. Now, obviously this product is made by KJWorks. It is, like I said, it's a 1911 design, but it's not licensed. You'll notice there's no licensing other than made in Taiwan, just letting you know. Sometimes you'll see some KJWorks branding on these guns. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. Just depends on the gun. This one seems to be pretty plain in terms of markings. I don't mind a gun that's not marked up with all sorts of inscriptions and things. I like an all black gun. That white lettering doesn't always look good. Can you imagine if we couldn't take that off and that was just sitting there all white? Wouldn't look very good, right? All right, let's take a quick look at this gun, show you up nice and close. That's what it's all about, these videos, right? You want to see them. So there's your fiber optic sight in the front. There's your compensator, okay? You can see here, if we pull this barrel back, you can see how it basically attaches to the barrel. There's a couple screws in the bottom there. You can take it off. Got a fluted type barrel here. You've got the open design here on the slide, which is nice. Cutouts. Here's your rear sight. Okay. There's your safeties. We'll just slide catch release it. So the slide isn't super snappy. The spring could be a little tighter, but this trigger is really nice. Look at how short that is. Just so short. Really short. Okay, you have an ejection magazine ejector here. I don't believe it's ambidextrous. I mean, you may be able to take it out and switch sides, possibly. I'm not 100% sure, but it might be swappable. You do have the flared mag well. Okay, you can see right through it. Looks really good. There's your gas nozzle there. You can see here we can take this plate right off and put that adapter plate on. This whole piece comes right off. Okay, you do have, I'm pretty sure, a working grip safety. Let's double check. No, you don't. Okay, so the grip safety does not function. That's kind of different. That's okay though. Usually the 1911s do have working grip safety, so that's one thing that's not truly accurate. Nice looking gun though, it's all textured. It's easy to grab, but as I said, it is pretty wide. Okay. And then you've got your magazine for the CO2. You'll have to basically, usually what ends up happening is you have to pull this up. This little piece here is pulled up, and then you can get at your CO2 screw. Okay, so that slides forward, and then you have to get that back in. There you go. So this little piece here you have to pull up to move the butt plate over so you can get at the CO2 screw. But you've got a double stack magazine that is sort of double stack sized as well, because this is a double stack mag well for sure. So let's do a field strip real quick here. So basically what you do is you got to line up, take the magazine out, line up that little rear hole there with this, so this will come out. So you have to have this lined up with that little opening there, and then your slide will just come forward. Boom, Bob's your uncle. I'm not going to take the barrel off. You would probably have to take the compensator off of this gun to get the actual full barrel out. But you can see in here you've got all your bits and pieces. This is pretty heavy. It's probably going to be, you've got some CNC aluminum and then probably some zinc alloy here. There's your trigger group and everything. Okay, this bit here is all metal. Feels like it's aluminum. It doesn't feel that heavy. All right, let's put this back in. Okay, and it just goes back together exactly the same way we took it apart. Just got to give it a firm push, and we're back in business. All right, let's go over some pros and cons for the KJWorks KP-19. So there's lots of metal on this pistol with a good weight to it. It's about 2 pounds, just under, so it's fairly heavy, feels good, feels well balanced. Now, I haven't shot it yet, but typically these guns have decent full blowback operation. I can't see it being super heavy because the slide spring isn't crazy hard, but typically these KJWorks guns have decent blowback. It does have excellent fit and finish, as always with KJWorks pistols. They're really well made. It does have a nice high capacity, full-size dropout metal magazine that holds the 25 rounds. You've also got that Picatinny rail underneath for adding accessories. And up top, you've got the adapter plate for adding a red dot to the rear of the slide. I do like the green dot fiber optic sights. They're super easy to see on all types of backgrounds. So you're probably not going to need to go out and buy a red dot unless that's something you like to use. I do like the two-tone CNC aluminum barrel finish. You can also see through the slide cutouts. So you can see that aluminum barrel. It's not exactly aluminum colored. It's more of a gold charcoal color, but it does look good. It is slightly glossy, sort of semi-gloss almost. And it does have that super short and light skeletonized adjustable trigger. It's a competition trigger that looks and feels really good. Even the way it is out of the box, I wouldn't change it personally, but you could. And you can use CO2 or gas magazines, so you can get different magazines from either us or KJWorks or just whoever you're buying through at the time that you buy it. You might want to pick up different magazine options or at least additional magazines. And as you can see, I field stripped it, so it is field strippable. A few cons we want to talk about here. The grips are wide and may not fit the hands of small shooters. Not all the controls are ambidextrous, essentially just the safety. And that rear sight is not adjustable unless you put the red dot on there. And as I discovered when I was doing the walk around on this video, I didn't have it here on my list, but the backstrap safety does not function. So it's just there for looks. It doesn't function in any way. That's not a deal breaker. Most of the time when you're shooting, you don't even really notice it because you're basically gripping the grips so firmly that the backstrap doesn't move around. You don't really notice it anyways. All right, that wraps up this review for the KJWorks KP-19 CO2 Blowback Airsoft pistol. We will be doing a field test shooting video down the road, so stay posted for that. And if you're interested in buying this product in Canada, there will be a link in the description. I'll also have a post over at replicaairguns.com with some potential additional information along with photos of this product. If you're interested in other products, air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories, then check out replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US. Thank you again for watching another Replica Airguns video. Don't forget to subscribe. Also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, take care.